Earmuff, you stay on hard.
Saying thank you to everybody watching, already jumped into the chat rooms on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, we got to talk about Ed Reed, Hall of Famer Ed Reed.
How you get fired on your day off, Bryan? How you get fired on your day off? Before you even had a day off.
Was he... Look, I'm still trying to figure out 25 days in.
Well, he technically wasn't fired because he never signed a contract. So
that's my point. So 25 days since the announcement came out that the school had reached an agreement in principle, if I recall the original press release, to bring on Ed Reed as the next coach of the Bethune-Cookman University Wildcats. 25 days later, it has all fell apart. And we have so much that we can expound upon because it happened during a recruiting weekend in a nasty sort of way, in public, for everybody to see. And, those are the kind of PR things okay, let me just start. We have lots of questions, Drew. I know you're going to have some for me. I'm going to have some for you. But let me start with this one. What is a bigger or worst PR hit? The stuff that Ed Reed did that initially was on social media, or the whole events Saturday that played out not only in front of recruits, but also on social media? I just quickly want your thoughts. Which of the two would you say was worse? The worst PR disaster from a Bethune-Cookman University perspective?
It would have to be Bethune to be, because you expect an organization, and for lack of a better word, the university is an organization, Bethune. You would have to expect
which one? Which of the two? Which of the two? The first one or the second one? Like which of the two? Which of the two?
Bethune.
The one that just happened this weekend. On Saturday.
The one that happened yesterday.
I got you.
That's what I meant when I said Bethune. You would have to say that was a little bit worse because you expect the organization with the size of Bethune and with the knowledge and know-how there and the people there to think certain things through. This was not a life or death situation where Ed Reed was charged with murder or something along those lines where you had to usher that right then and there. Somebody should have thought about this from a marketing point of view. How can we we know we're going to take a hit on this. No matter what we do, we know we're going to take a hit on this. How do we soften this blow?
Mm-hmm.
Someone should have known that there were 26 recruits coming in to look at your university, to consider continuing their education at your university. If you're going to do, and just think about these kids, there's no way in heck now Bethune is probably on any of those folks' radar just because a recruiting trip is special. Whether you sign with that school, whether you do not sign with that school, your recruiting trips are special. You come there for the weekend. Mom and dad are allowed to come. Mom and dad come. They have things for the parents to help the parent convince you to go. They have things you're supposed to have. Your college, somebody hosts you for the weekend. There's certain things that you go through and do, and that's been ruined. That has been ruined. And if it's one of your 5 official, damn, I just wasted an official visit on this garbage.
Yes, because the school
That's
did
why
make it
I say,
clear it was an official visit. They were very adamant. I use the word adamant, but it did come out that some people did carry on with their campus visit because it was still counted as a recruiting visit. Although there were some people who chose to leave, and I did hear from someone who was there with his son, and they chose to leave. But others did stay and went through the campus visit because it was an official visit. It counted as an official
and
visit.
Brian, there's only one weekend left before signing day.
Yep.
So these things have to be coordinated as far as the children. They can't come back next week on a visit because
Right.
they're probably going to be at another university next weekend. So
Right.
I just think because of that was the bad. That was the worst of it because you would think an organization such as Bethune-Cookman would have thought somebody would have thought about this, and maybe somebody did. Either they didn't speak up loud enough, or their voice was squashed, and the powers that be decided not to listen to them. The powers that be probably don't have or too far removed from their kids possibly going through an experience like this where they were being recruited and having to go on these visits because that's a moment that child would never get back. They
Let's
say
talk about that for a
first
second.
impressions. First impressions, Brian. Bad first impression about Bethune-Cookman for 26 young men.
Sure. Yeah, no, I can't disagree. I can't disagree. One of the things that you and I talked about when we first saw this, and the fact that the contract thing was still going on, and I want to read the statement because we're talking about the semantics of Ed Reed's statement that he published through his Ed Reed Foundation, the actual press thing that he did on Instagram Live, and the university announcement. But you and I were talking about, quickly before I read that Ed announcement, we were talking about how did we get to this point? Because Ed Reed, if he wasn't official, should he have been out there in the first place? And I maintain, Drew, I maintain true that you're working under the principle of I'm trusting you, and even though I know we're still working out the agreement and everything, but I know it's also important for our coach to be there, and I feel and I'm speaking as I'm just saying BCU. I don't know who it is. I don't know whether it's the AD. I don't know whether it's somebody above the AD. I don't know if it's the president or whatever. I don't know their whole structure, but somebody said it was okay for Ed Reed to be on campus, to be on a golf cart, to be doing whatever it was he was doing for the week and a half that he was doing before he got triggered by some comments on Instagram Live and chose to, go off, and and still there was no, and we said it 2 weeks ago. There's still no introductory press conference. And then I honestly felt like, whoa, that just changed. That whole thing that he did changed the whole tone for what's happening in the background because he embarrassed a lot of people. Now, a lot of people are going to side with, oh, well, he was telling the truth because Uncle Prime said, or Coach Prime said the truth needs to be told. Okay, you can go ahead and let the truth be told. But again, the thing that bothered me about
Not on
all of the
our
stuff
dime.
all the stuff that he said when he made the statement that in his week and a half that he'd done more than people who'd been there for years, for me, that bothered me. I thought that was the most disrespectful thing that he had said, even though he may have been right about a lot of things.
Or
And his
disrespectful to
time,
Dr. Kane.
more what?
Or disrespectful to the Dr. Kane comment.
I didn't hear the Dr. Kane comment. When was that said? Hold on.
It,
Was that said what, Saturday?
it I believe it was in the original one. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was in the original one when he was talking about Dr. Bethune.
Okay. I don't recall, but I just know if I had been someone who'd been for years maybe and had worked in athletics or any other department, I really would have felt some kind of way about that, you know? And that was the part that I felt like that's where he's going to start having troubles at that point. And so, all things were quiet for the week, maybe a week and a half it was. And
It hasn't
then,
been a week, Brian.
huh?
It hasn't been a week.
It hasn't been a week. Well,
No,
let me
this was
see.
like
Okay, so
the
that
original tweet, the original Instagram post came out a week from Saturday. This is all transpired,
wow, in a week.
and 7 days later, he was told his services would not be needed.
All right. So I thought he said a lot of things, and originally a week ago, and didn't really give clear background on it. But in his statement that he released at, let me make sure I got the time of this right, that he released it at 11:06 Saturday. The statement from the Ed Reed regarding Bethune-Cookman. He said Bethune-Cookman University has been working with my legal team to craft contract terms with the language and resources we knew were needed to build a successful football program. It's my desire to not only coach football, but to be an agent of change that most people just talk about being. However, after weeks of negotiations, I've been informed that the university won't be ratifying my contract and won't make good on the agreement we had in principle, which had provisions and resources best needed to support the student athletes. Now, that's another little thing in there, Drew, that I always think, let's always bring it back to the student athletes, right? Because
Of
that's
course,
why we're all doing this. It's not about me. It's not about my ego, not about how anything I did or said incorrectly. Let's put the focus back on the student athletes, okay? I was committed to coaching and cultivating a relationship with the university, players, community, and the fans. It's extremely disappointing this won't be happening. What kind of relationships, Drew, do you build when you publicly chastise me about my house? That's like me giving you a room to stay in as a visitor in my house, and then you get on Instagram and say, "Look at this man! Look at this man's kitchen. This man's kitchen is horrible. They don't clean up nothing. They don't clean the stove. Look at the kit. Look at the refrigerator. Look at the little nasty stuff left in the refrigerator. This milk this milk is
this
from
milk a month old.
thank you. Who gets so? What kind of relationship are you building when you do all of that? All right,
Right.
I'm just asking questions. I'm
I
just
ain't gotta let
asking
you stay here.
questions, right? Yeah, exactly. I thought I was doing you a favor by giving you anyway.
And
Thank
you
you
ain't
to
even
those
paid
who
me rent
share
yet.
my. Yeah, exactly. We hadn't even made it through the first month for you to pay me rent yet. Thank you to those who share my vision and believe that greatness can be achieved with the right environment and surroundings. Although we couldn't make things work at BCU, the goal and mission are still the same. We serve to lead, lead to serve. We will continue with our pillars. Respect. Oh, wait a second. The Ed Reed Foundation vision. You know what the first pillar is, Drew? Respect, educate, empower, and dream. Hmm. Seemed like there wasn't much respect that was being given to the institution that had been around for hundreds, well before Ed Reed was born, thought of, brought on the planet, success at Miami, went to be a Hall of Fame. Bethune Cookman was around way before Ed Reed. It's going to be around way longer than Ed Reed, hopefully, Lord willing. So, respect, though. One of the pillars. One of the pillars, huh? Okay. Uh, so Drew, you saw that your initial reaction as you read that. Your thoughts go where as you're reading that and hear that?
There's a publicist somewhere who did a damn good job of spinning that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere. Yeah, I mean, whoever had release, they did a very good job of spinning that. And for us giving his perspective, I really honestly do believe he wanted to come in and do good things at
Hmm.
Bethune Cookman.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
But the approach was totally off. And Bryan, as a FAMU Rattler, I should be loving this chaos right now. I really should with this being our rivalry, but I can't. I
No, I
can't.
can't either.
I can't do it. I can't do it because when it's all said and done, yeah, me and my brother may not get along, but doggone it, that's my brother. You
Hmm.
can't disrespect my brother. I can slap him upside his head all day, but you touch him, we gonna have some problems. And that's what that felt like with Bethune in that situation. So and I mean I do
I
have
think
other feelings, but I'll hold it for a little bit later on in the conversation.
Yeah, I know coming up later on in the show, we're gonna bring on our good friend Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, get his thoughts on this. I'm fascinated from a consultant standpoint of somebody who might be in a position. Now, I'm not saying that Doc was involved in consulting Bethune, but let's just say what he does in consulting might be centered around something like this. Um, you know, the the university has problems. Okay, um, that part
Can
is
I say
very
something
clear.
about that, Bryan? And can I say something while you talk about the university has
Yeah.
problems? All right, please, folks, stop this these innuendos that there's financial mismanagement of money and people are stealing money at Bethune Cookman. That is not the case. That they may have made some poor decisions with the money that they have gotten, but nobody has been stealing money from Bethune Cookman. So I'm tired of seeing that part of it. He exposed them for stealing money. No, just like with anything, people make bad decisions. Bryan, if I was to give you $10,000 right now, you may blow it in 2 days. Why? Because you made a bad decision with the money. Did you steal it though? No. You may have mismanaged it and did some stupid stuff with it, but you didn't do anything illegal with it. So I really want people to please throw that narrative out of this whole conversation. Bad decisions with money, possibly. Stealing money, please leave that one alone. I don't even want to see that in the chat. Please.
Yeah, and I again, when I said issues, I wasn't referring to anything like that.
No, but I wanted
I,
I
I
wanted to make sure I got that out
and it's
before
funny
you
you
got
said that
into it.
because I tried to go back and listen to the Twitter space that Hale Wildcats did, and I was petitioning trying to get a couple of people, Brad Gillens, who we've had on the ONG Strike Zone, who covers Bethune. I was trying to, see if I could get somebody who's got a deeper knowledge and understanding of things at Bethune, who might even be heavily covering this, to come in and talk with us. So that might be uh, next week kind of thing, given the proximity of how close things happen. But I am fascinated to get more and shine a light. See, we the biggest thing people have to understand: Bethune-Cookman is a private institution, whereas Florida A&M is a state-funded university. Everything that comes into Bethune is either tuition or donations. Okay, that's part of being a private institution. And so I
And a
don't
few
know.
grants here and there.
Right, a few grants there, and I know the state of Florida even granted them some funds, but there are issues that led to the uh, the effects of what we saw go through the athletic department, where you've had the football program lose or not have the full complement of resources. Just the fact that you've gone through the hurricanes that the school went through creates challenges. And so a lot of things have to be in place, in order, to be able to manage that. And that's a tall task for any school. Um, I, and that's what's disappointing about the Ed Reed way of trying to come in and talk down upon what was there. I think there's a way to do things. He he saw Coach Prime and what Dion did as a model. But I don't think Ed Reed appreciated the differences in Bethune and Jackson State. I don't think I don't think there are enough. There's not enough background for Ed Reed to tactfully spin and market things the way Deion Sanders did. And that's one thing people got to understand. Deion Sanders is a tactful marketer. There is nothing that he didn't do or say that didn't have a purpose behind it. So, with that said, what do you think Ed Reed's purpose was when he got on Instagram and went off? Um,
Frustration.
I read, huh?
Frustration.
Frustration. Right. And I wish I could find this article. I know Kelvin's online. I saw him in the chat room. He sent me a great article that talked about Ed Reed and why. And maybe I can find it coming out of whenever we do take a break and go into Dr. Gaville. But I don't know if I'm paraphrasing it right by talking about the ego. Here's what I've said about athletes, Hall of Fame athletes with a lot of money. And I said this about Coach Prime. They are guys who want to get things done on their clock. And when you roll in certain circles, when you have certain kind of money and resources, that's easy to do for yourself because you're you. So when Dion wants things done, for example, he got it done, right? But also notice Dion, he worked with his athletic director, Ashley Robinson, right? And Ashley Robinson worked with him. There was a symbiotic relationship there, I believe, from what I've seen and have heard, that allowed for a lot of things to happen. And maybe everything
Kind of
didn't
hard.
happen on Dion's timeline. Uh, you,
I was gonna say it's kind of
what were you
hard
gonna
to
say?
work with
Is
your athletic. Kind of hard to work with the athletic director when the athletic director spent half his time on the road coaching the basketball team.
okay? Now, see, here we get into it. Here we get into it. Now, see, now if you want to call this your frustration and the fact that in Ed Reed's second post, and he got up there and he calls out Reggie Theus. And I think he threw his name out there. That was a source. When he did that, that tells me that those two were never on the same page. That tells me, Drew, that I don't know if Ed Reed was Reggie Theus's choice. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were my guy and you were the guy I went out there after, and whoever else that Reggie Theus has to go before to get the approval of Ed Reed to be the next coach, then that kind of thing doesn't happen. You don't get to throw my name out there under the bus after day 25 because things haven't gone exactly as I promised. If we have a tight relationship, you know what I'm saying, Drew?
That's a big if.
I don't think that happens. I don't think that happens. So that tells me, one, that the Theus Ed Reed relationship doesn't seem like it was great from the jump. You know, um, I think there are instances here where um, you where I want to go with here, Drew, because there's so many different things here. Let's ask the question. Ask the question, Drew. With
I'm waiting.
everything that's going on, okay? Why did Bethune have Ed Reed in the position that he's in? If they hadn't signed a deal,
Please expand on that because I want to see where you go before I go where I want to go. With
if they haven't signed the deal, they haven't. I mean, you knew after that thing happened last Saturday that things were going to go bad. I firmly believe that. Now, I also think what played a factor in this, Drew, and watch me here. It was Thursday, I think, when Edrin James came on campus. Did you see that?
Was it Thursday? I mean, I remember coming on campus.
Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Hall of Famer Edrin James came on campus. And I know there were some Instagram posts, some things that went out there. And I'd be willing to bet that was the moment that somebody said, okay, we need to put an end to this real quick. Either we announce the man as the coach or we pull back and we put some tough restrictions on Ed Reed to say, hey, Ed Reed, you can only do X, Y, and Z. It has to go through us.
That's why the contract goes down. That's why the contract goes down.
I'm guessing. Now, that's just our speculation. But when you do what you did, wouldn't I have a firm, again, my organization, which has been around hundreds of years. No, excuse me, thousands. Nope, hundreds. Yeah, hundreds of years. Sorry, too many zeros. Hundreds of years before you, I got to protect my institution, right? And so let's craft how we want to do this. And so now when Ed Reed, and you go back and forth of Ed Reed getting up there and saying, I didn't resign. No, they didn't. You didn't resign.
You can't resign for a position you never had.
He had it in principle.
But you didn't
have
it.
He had it in principle. Well,
you can't resign from a position you never had. So he did not lie.
He didn't lie. Well, look, I do want to I want to point out I wanted to read Bethune's statement because I think Bethune's statement came out probably 10 to 12 hours after. Actually, no. It came out 6:54 p.m. by Bethune. Their official statement. Okay, official statement by Bethune. Bethune-Cookman University has announced that it has decided not to proceed with contract negotiations with Ed Reed to become the next head football coach at BCU. After undergoing a detailed assessment and review of the state of our football program, we have determined that it is in the best interest of our university, athletics program, and the football student athletes to reopen the search and identify the next leader of Bethune-Cookman Wildcats football. While we appreciate the initial interest in our football program displayed by Mr. Reed during the course of recent weeks, this is the part that I love right here, Drew. We are also mindful of the qualities and attributes that must be exhibited by our institutional personnel during what have been uniquely challenging times for our campus as we recover from the impact of 2 hurricanes during the past fall semester. BCU was founded with core guiding principles centered around integrity, accountability, and respect for others. Remember, that was one of those first pillars of Ed Reed's foundation, right? Respect.
Correct.
Mhm. These guiding principles have and will continue to weigh heavily on all decisions made that impact our university. Blah, blah, blah. We remain steadfast and committed to building a championship caliber football program, blah, blah, blah. Our university community has placed the utmost trust and faith in us to continue to advance our institution, and we continue to strive to live up to the high standards that have been set for all individuals affiliated with our illustrious university. That's from Bethune-Cookman, not from the athletic director. That's from Bethune-Cookman.
Athletic director can't send out a statement when he losing a basketball game. You know, this is going on.
I firmly believe the whole Reggie Theus athletic director thing was possibly to help
Increase his pay. Increase his pay.
fundraise
That's what that was.
his pay maybe fundraise a little bit. I don't know. I mean, he is now isn't what was that? Isn't Theus a Hall of Famer now? What he just
He's a finalist. He's a finalist.
a finalist. Okay, so there's an opportunity here where you're about to potentially don't sleep. Somebody must find that really attractive to have a future NBA Hall or basketball Hall of Famer as your athletic director. I guess. What do you make before? I know we're going to have Dr. Ville coming up here in the second hour. Protest. Students are planning to protest. Student athletes. I love a good protest. It's scheduled for noon. I don't really know what they're protesting. I mean, are they protesting the way that this was handled? Are they protesting that they want Ed Reed? I don't know what to make of the student protest.
News story at 5, I guess, tomorrow. News story at 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, I see. Who was that? HBCU Talk had said, dropped a rumor there and said that that there was a report that Ed Reed was asked to leave. I don't know if it was this past Monday. He was not under contract. We've already kind of established that. I'm just kind of going through some of your guys' thoughts and comments there.
Can I put out my point that we talked about last night, Bryan?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, before we get into this break. And this actually originally started with the conversation that I had with another friend of the program. I don't want to call his name out, but I got a text from him last night, and he asked me if Ed Reed was never under contract, How could he technically recruit those kids and have those kids come to campus to sign with Bethune and those players who already signed with Bethune if he was never under contract? Can he even offer a scholarship if he's not in the employ of Bethune-Cookman? I sat there and I thought about that question. And then I texted him back. This is an HR nightmare. Here's why. Ed Reed's riding around on their golf cart. Ed Reed's out there picking up trash. Why was his office not clean? Maybe because he should have never been on campus. Want to throw that out there. Because if you're not an employee, you could come, we could have meetings while we ratify everything, but you should not be doing any work for our institution or for our business, because the university is a business. Because anything that you do, we could be held liable for it. Or you could sue us. If Ed Reed goes out there and strains his back or throws his back out or trips over something and breaks his leg, you can't get workers' comp because he's not an employee. His only recourse at that point would be to use their liability policy and sue them. Or Ed Reed riding around on that golf cart and he damages some property or a person on the golf cart, then who gets sued? He's on Bethune's golf cart. So Bethune, because Ed Reed should have never been driving because he's not an employee of the university. These are HR and legal issues that, once again, Bryan, someone should have been the adult in the room to say, we want him here. We know he can help us, but we got to do this the right way to cover our you-know-what and to make sure his you-know-what is covered. We've got Dr. Cavill here waiting in the room, Bryan. Let everybody marinate on that while we go to this break on the other side.
Will do. I love the fact that, as I told you, you're the only person who thought. I mean, that was a next level thought and commentary. But I told you, only way you thought of that is having been in that kind of situation.
Haven't been that level of management and having
been in that level of management. Yes,
and having to think through things from a liability. Make decisions based upon liability. So being that upper level of management, somebody in that room should have been part of the conversation.
That you got to, you know what?
It ain't nothing personal. It's business.
No, exactly. It's a thinking worst case scenario. It's having somebody who thinks about the worst case scenarios that can happen. It's unpleasant to be that person, but that's why you hire a person to help you out.
That's why you hire that.
Right now, I that dude. Yeah, that dude may have been around on the campus of Bethune-Cookman, and he may have told some people this, and they chose not to listen. So, interesting. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk more about the Ed Reed saga between the relationship, as I saw somebody tweet out, and I can't remember who it is said, but the Ed Reed and Bethune-Cookman relationship didn't even pass the dating stage. So that's we'll talk to Dr. Cavill more about that on the other side. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. We'll be back in 2.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora. as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
So much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less. So it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey in Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan and A.D here, and it's a pleasure to be joined by a young lady that Edward Waters, President and CEO, Dr. A. Zachary Faison, calls the ultimate teammate and competitor, LaQuanza Glover, whose number was retired just a week ago and will forever hang in the rafters at Adams Jenkins Complex. LaQuanza, it's a pleasure to have you on tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor.
Yeah, no, we are big fans of you. Have been ever since we began covering Edward Waters basketball. I want to give the accolades just in case people who don't know LaQuanza Glover, and this is coming from EWUTigerPride.com. LaQuanza appeared in 125 games over her 5-year career, and some of the superlatives that she earned: the 2017-18 Gulf Coast Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year, 2019 Second Team All GCAC, 2020 First Team All GCAC, 2020 GCAC All Tournament Team, 2021 First Team All GCAC, 21 GCAC All Defensive Team, 21 GCAC All Tournament Team, multiple GCAC Players of the Week honors, and of course, she was the 2021 Black College Sports Network National Women's Basketball Player of the Year. So, when
Can
you
I
hear
throw
some
something
of
in on
those,
that, Brian?
oh yeah,
Hey,
is there anything
Brian.
I forgot that you want to add? Yeah.
No, she should have been the 2021 GCAC Player of the Year. I still don't know how
Player
she
of the
lost that
year.
award. Also,
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
well,
I don't know either.
we didn't have a vote on that, but
yeah. We're not gonna talk
That's
about. We're
she
gonna be
got
crazy.
the
thankful
important
for
one. She
what
got
you
the
were.
Player of the Year for us.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be thankful for what we did, what you did receive, and not reflect back. And also, what was the stats, Drew, on the 2020s? I believe in our
Six.
time, how many 2020s do we have LaQuanza down for?
And maybe she can help us out with that. We came up. We think we counted 4. Is that number correct, or are we off?
4. I really don't know. I'll say, I mean, I think it's more than 4 though. I can say that. I'll
Yeah.
say between maybe 6,
20 points, 20
6. I'll
rebounds.
say 6.
There have
I'll
only
say
been three.
6.
There have only been three that we have encountered
3
over the
players.
last 5 years. Three players, yourself, um,
Dariana
uh,
Lewis from
Ariana
A&M
Lewis at Alabama A&M, and
and
Amisha Williams.
Williams. Holiday.
Yeah, she at Jackson State. And obviously they stand a little bit taller than you. At the 6 foot. What's always been impressive for me, Laquanza, is your ability to do what you do at your height. Talk a little bit about playing bigger than your height, and where does that come from? You were a standout in high school. Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
I would say it's all about just heart and wanting it more than my opponent. I already know I'm undersized. Everybody's taller than me, but I feel like it's about who wants it more. And I feel like I play with a chip on my shoulder, and I play like I'm not gonna let you out rebound me. You're not gonna outscore me. And I feel like since I had that mindset, that mentality, that's just how I just go out and do it. I don't really care about a size advantage because most of our opponents, as you see, were taller than me, and I was playing the 4. But size doesn't really matter to me. It's all about heart and effort and who wants some more. And I've always had that as a player. So that's why size advantage really has never been a problem to me. I just take it for what it is and go out there and ball.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Hey
Go
Brian,
ahead, Drew.
some of her other career stats averaged a double double for her career at 13.6 points and 10.38 rebounds per contest, along with 3.02 assists. Total numbers: 1,726 points, 1,334 rebounds, and count on Brian, 66 career double doubles. 66 of them. So just more on I'm a numbers nerd. That's why these things stick out to somebody like me. And so with all that being said, Kwanzaa, I remember doing your speech that you gave at halftime of the game when you were honored. You kind of let some people in behind the scenes and kind of talk about how tough it was on you coming from being that high school star as the standout player in high school to when you first got to EWU and those challenges of fitting in and a career that almost ended before it began. Tell everybody about that.
Right. Well, actually, in high school, I was more so of a role player. So, um, I transitioned. So I started in private school where I was a star, literally averaging like 40 points a game, and then I transitioned to public school my 10th grade year, and I actually got I was able to play alongside with stars. So I was more so of a role player, just playing my role, and you know what I'm saying, do what I need to do as a teammate to help us win. So but I came from a winning program. We won state championship my 11th grade year. That same year we went to Madison Square Garden, we won the national championship. And then my senior year we won again. So coming from a winning program, I just had that, as my coach would say, she called it cocky. But it was more so of, I just had that winning mentality, and that's what I was bringing. But me and my coach, we really didn't see eye to eye on certain things. So not seeing eye to eye and then having that attitude. And I can admit I did have a little attitude coming in as a freshman. So it was rough. It was rough. It was a challenge with me and my coach. But once we got past it, it was our relationship was so much better. But it was rough in the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious. Let me ask you, because as a coach, we always have those challenges where we're trying to connect with players. Um, and I'm sure there some give and take. Who did more giving? If you had to do the percentage scale with your relationship with Coach Wilson in those early years, who did more giving? What would you say the scale was in terms of who had to give a little more? Or who was it, 50-50, or was
Um,
it 70-30? Who did the most
I
giving?
I feel like it was even. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it was more of a 50-50. Like, yeah, I can say 50-50. It wasn't one doing more than the other. Like, we was both on the same page. So I wouldn't say I was doing more or she was doing more. I would say that it was about the same amount, both 50-50.
And how did Coach Wilson? Because I know she's very intense, very driven, a successful coach, a winner. Um, how did she connect and motivate you? And that kind of filled filled in with the whole team. How did she specifically connect with you?
It was more so of coaching me differently from everybody else. Just basically seeing where I'm coming from as a player on and off the court, and just having that type of relationship you need between the coach and the player. So I feel like once we came to that mutual agreement, okay, well, you can't say this to Q because she gonna react this way or take it this way, or you know what I'm saying. I can't do this because my coach is going to uh get on me about this, or she may take it the wrong way about this. So I feel like once we had came to a mutual agreement of how to have that player coach relationship on and off the court, I feel like our relationship grew. And it took a parent coach meeting for that to happen, which I'm in college, most of the times you don't really have no parent coach meeting. It's whatever the coach say goes, you kicked
Excuse
out
me,
the
your
team, you
scholarship will not
gone.
be renewed next year.
Exactly. Like you might not even finish out the school year, really. So it all just depend basically on the coach. So I'm just really thankful that even although it had to take a parent coach meeting, I'm just glad that it did take place because if it didn't, I probably would have lost my scholarship.
Go ahead, Drew.
One other thing that a lot of people may not know about you and your situation down there at Edward Waters is this NIL thing. You were
Right.
one of the first, if not the first HBCU female to actually sign an NIL deal when that came around. Kind of walk everybody back through that and how that came about.
Okay, so over the summer, AD Bryan, our former AD, he called me over the summer. I think what is that, 2021? And he was
Yeah.
telling me how, get ready because the opportunity was coming for me pertaining to NIL deal. He didn't really go into details, but he said he got something for me and just be on the lookout, be ready. And so we went from there, and that's when it took place. We had they invited the girls and the boys team in the gym, and then that's when they basically told me, hey, we got this NIL deal for you, from Mr. Jesus, who is the owner of Global Freight and Commerce, and that was the person I got my NIL deal from. So big ups to AD Bryant for, making the way and making the deal and doing whatever he had to do for me to be able to receive the NIL deal from Mr. Jesus. So big shout out to both of them for that opportunity for sure.
And from a business perspective, because I believe what is your you'll be graduating with a graduate degree in May. In Tell us again what your degree will be in.
Business administration.
Okay. So, you have an NIL opportunity and, you're going into business. I mean, talk a little bit about managing your brand at the time and were you excited about that opportunity? Is that something that you and maybe other of your teammates at the time, other college athletes are talking about, thinking about? Give us a little insight into that at the time and how you use that to your advantage.
Um, I mean, it was really more so of a surprise to me. Like it was a conversation that we had talked about during the summer, but I didn't think it would actually like happen. So when it did happen, I was like just shocked because I am the first female student athlete in the state of Florida at a HBCU to receive the NIL deal. So it was really just more so me just being surprised by it because I didn't think it would actually happen. So I really was just surprised, and just being able to get my name out there even more, my brand, everything else, having my face, the cover of somebody's company, it was really a blessing. Plenty of opportunities came from that experience, and I'm just truly grateful for that, for the NIL for sure.
Now being a Jacksonville native, and now being sort of on whenever young people come into the Adams Jenkins complex, they're gonna look up and see that jersey, and they're gonna see your name. What kind of things are you hoping to be able to get involved in whether it be Jacksonville or elsewhere with your degree and your background?
Um, I don't even really know. Right now I'm really focused on like going overseas and doing that, and I plan to uh just like basically give back to my community and also my university as well. But just inspire like the younger kids, and show them that they can do it too. Just inspire, go back to certain high schools and like speak to the kids and let them know like everything I did. Tell them my journey, my experiences. Like just let them know like, hey, somebody done did this and you can be next up. So just because I'm the first doesn't mean like I want to be the only one. Like I want to set the standard and set the goal and let everybody know like, hey, I did it. I want somebody else to do it too. So that's really what I'm looking for from that.
Okay. So you mentioned playing overseas. So that is a goal to continue pick up the ball again and get back to playing overseas basketball. That's the plan. Yes.
That's the plan.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Um,
I had knee surgery back in May, so I had to
okay.
take a year off. So that's why I've been off this whole year because I had to recover. But I just got cleared 2 weeks ago, so now it's time to work.
Okay. Got to put in the work and I'm sure we'll see the workout videos, all this stuff. That's another thing. See now it's like you guys have so many tools that you can use to promote yourself now, that you can
Right.
use to kind of get your name out there. Who were your
Right.
inspirations? Who inspired you when you were a young child?
Um, I would just like you like a role model, like somebody I looked up to for
Yeah, whether it be in
basketball.
basketball. Yeah, maybe in basketball. Who inspired
Oh, it could
you?
be in life.
Uh, or sure.
Um, I mean, really in life, just my parents, just seeing them be go getters, just seeing them do what they do on a daily basis. I would say that's my inspiration. It still is to this day. Uh, you all know I lost my father back in 2020, so that's more of an inspiration for me to follow my dreams and chase my goals and do what I need to do for not only myself but for my family because they're counting on me. And one thing about my mom, my brother, my sister, they believe in me. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, what I want to do, anything I tell them, they're going to believe in me 100%. And I'm thankful for my support system. Beyond those three, y'all know Prez and First Lady support me 100% through everything I do. So they're really my inspiration on why I do what I do. Really.
Nice. Drew, got any final thoughts or questions you want to get in there with Laquanza?
Yeah, she need to tell everybody about that big sneaker collection that I see over there behind her.
Indeed.
You expect to see the trophies and the basketballs and all that stuff that she got in the background, but I mean, I see about 20 plus shoes that just in the frame right there, but I'm pretty sure she's
Six
got more than
rows.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
six
sure
rows.
she's got
That's
more than
about
that.
six
So
rows up right there by my count. By my count, that's
exactly.
Hey,
about
I
6 or
just said it's
7
in the
rows
frame.
up there. Yeah.
Talking
it
about
actually
that.
go like all the way around. Like I'm a big
Oh
sneakerhead.
wow.
Like I blame my brother. Like he growing up, he was like a sneakerhead, and I was more into like electronics, like video games. Any electronic that came out, I had it. So now it's like I'm more of a sneakerhead now. Like it's bad. It goes all the way around, but y'all can just see this part. But this really is like my sneaker room and my trophy room. I don't have like I really don't have enough space because I got my jersey that I gotta put up from the ceremony. I got different I got other jerseys that actually gotta be put up that's not in the frame. So I it's a lot of stuff that gotta be done in here really. But I am a sneakerhead. It's bad, like really bad.
How many pair you
My
got?
mom tell me all the time I need how many I
How many
got?
pair?
Ooh,
Yeah, just a rough guess. Just a rough
I,
guess.
I'll say
Look at
about
her, looking
200
around the room.
plus.
Well, we
200
know where she
plus.
200
spent her
what?
NIL money at.
200 plus.
Nah,
I don't think I'm
this
owed 200
nah.
sneakers in my life.
I've been a sneakerhead before the NIL deal.
Man.
Wow.
What's the pair? What is what's like your? I'm trying to relate this, as a collector of other things. What's your crown jewel? What's like the pair that maybe you've worn? Like I was checking your kicks out at the ceremony. Those are fresh. I mean, they clean match outfit. But give us
Yeah.
maybe a shoe or two that give us a good story with a pair or two behind you there on the wall.
Um.
Like, how
Um.
often have you worn them? What's the length? How many times have you worn them?
Brian, Brian, as
So
soon as
I
they crease,
don't.
she retire.
Yeah. So I don't really. I don't really wear my shoes, and if I do, I'm wearing them like one time, put them back in the box, and then I'm going to the next pair unless it match my outfit that I'm putting on. But I don't know my crown jewel. I would say the ones that I wore at my retirement for sure. My off-white fours. I would say those.
Hmm.
That's why I wore them at my retirement. That was a special night, special occasion, so I had to bring out a special pair of shoes. Off-white, retro fours.
How long have you
Now,
had those prior to wearing them?
I had them maybe about 2 years. Never worn them.
wow.
Wow. And
Maybe
so
two,
you
3 years. Never worn them.
so so was the outfit coordinated with the shoes? Since you had the shoes way longer, I'm sure. Did you kind of see the shoes and you said, okay, I got to find the fit to go with the shoes?
Yeah, I had the shoes, and I was like, I gotta wear something like out, like something that's gonna
Clean.
pop. So I'm like, I got
Something
these
fly.
shoes.
Something fly.
Yeah, I got these shoes. I know nobody gonna have these shoes on because a lot of people don't even own those type of shoes. So I'm like, gotta find something that's gonna match. And then I ordered something, but then it came in and it didn't pop. It didn't match my shoes. So now I'm like last minute trying to find something. And then I go into this suit store we have here in Jacksonville. And then I got the suit. I found a shoe. It matched up with my shoes perfect. And I got it tailored to my size. And I made it do what it do.
Clean, boy. That
Now,
is
I
so
see
clean.
nothing but Nikes there behind you. You got anything besides Nikes? All I see is Nikes and Jordans on the
Jor-
wall right there.
Jordans. I got some Yeezys in front of me. Some Yeezys right
Okay.
here. I got like 5 pair of Yeezys right here on the other side. But all I
Gotcha.
wear is Jordan and Dunks and Yeezys. That's all you'll really see me wear. I might put my foot in maybe some other stuff. Like I'm trying to get into like New Balances for sure. And I got a pair of Reeboks in here that I haven't
Somewhere.
worn, but yeah, somewhere
So
in here. But
so let me ask with this love of collecting sneakers, if you had a choice between designing sneakers or designing a shoe versus marketing a shoe, which would you rather do? And I'm trying to help you out here in case you're looking for ideas for your what to do with your master's degree and everything. So
I would probably design my own shoe. I think that would be dope. Like design my own shoe and then I can rock it and then people be like, what that is you wearing? You know what I'm saying? And then I can like put somebody else on. Like I can start selling my own shoe. Like just having my own shoe, I think that'd be like real cool to have my own.
I can see it, Drew. The Q3s being worn first by Edward Waters University.
I
The
like that name.
Q3s. Yeah, it's yours. My
Q3s.
gift to you. My gift to you. I don't want any
I like
royalties.
that.
Nothing. My gift to you, Laquanza.
Except
A
we
pair
gotta have
autographed.
we
A
gotta
pair
have a
autographed. That's all.
BCSN autograph to the
For
BCSN
sure.
family in there with you from day one, and we only gonna wear them when we come do Edward Waters game. How about that?
For sure.
Q3s
Y'all,
for Edward Waters
all of y'all
University.
get a
So
pair. Y'all get
there
a
you go.
pair. I'ma sign them. And then when y'all come to Edward Waters, y'all gotta have them on.
Yes,
Simple.
ma'am.
No,
Indeed.
And I
actually, you got to give us a pair. We got to buy a pair because I always believe in supporting you. Now the pair that you give me gonna be the ones that stay in the house or display like you got, but I'm gonna wear the ones out that I buy. That's how you got to do
I like that. I
it.
like that. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna hook y'all up with some
Yeah.
with my brand. I'm about to pop out with my brand soon. Quasi Apparel. Y'all be on the lookout. I got y'all.
What kind of what's the idea? What kind of things, what kind of gear are we talking, are we looking at?
I'm probably start up with some shirts, maybe a sweatsuit. I'm working on a sweatsuit right now. I got the design and everything. I just gotta do the other stuff, like get it put on clothes and stuff. But yeah, Quasi Apparel dropping soon. Y'all be on the lookout. Stay tuned.
Quasi Apparel, and then the Q3s coming in 20. I'm gonna predict, Drew, because she got to get
2024,
overseas.
25,
No,
25.
hold on. Got to give
I
her some
gotta get
time. Got to give her
overseas
some time to
first.
get overseas. I'm gonna go 2026. Q3s
Okay.
in 2026 after she had a couple
2026.
years in the international game and
Okay.
been able to stack some chips, maybe even get some get some records and get some games under her belt, and then boom, 2026 the Q3s will be coming out. So that's my prediction. My blessing. I'm gonna pray on that,
2026.
and then we gonna
2026.
talk it into existence.
Yes, let's
Definitely,
manifest. Speaking into existence. I like that.
Yes,
definitely,
indeed.
definitely.
Q3.
Anybody give your final shout outs to Laquanza?
Just shout out to my family that's watching. I got my mom, my brother watching, my niece, my nephew. Just shout out to everybody that's watching right now. And I just want to thank y'all for having me tonight on y'all podcast. I really appreciate it.
I see
Well,
First Lady is on
again,
here watching also.
First lady on
yes,
here. I did send it to
Yeah,
yeah,
her. Shout out to First Lady and Prez if
yeah,
y'all
yeah.
watching.
I'm pretty sure Prez is watching also.
yeah. He catches. He
Well,
catches. If not, he'll
look,
catch the replay. I know he does.
no offense, other HBCU presidents, but HBCU presidents who love sports, y'all got a hard match to follow to catch that brother. That brother is. I've only seen one other person that I could compare to him, Brian, and that was our
Who was
president,
that?
President Humphrey,
Woo.
when it comes
Hey,
to
yes,
being that enthused in athletics.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I will agree. I will agree. If there's a he's definitely moving in the right direction and has done a lot of great things for Edward Waters as we have seen over the past few years. So again,
We're gonna have to
Laquanza,
bring
it's
him
been a
on and find out what the sauce is.
yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good.
y'all
You know what?
definitely
I think
gotta have
that's a
my
sit
Prez
down.
on here.
Yeah, we gotta. I'd love to have that conversation. I feel like that's a sit down. We got to be sit down in front, do the in person sit down with Prez on that one. But I think that could
Yeah.
be real insightful. All right, hey Laquanza, we thank you for your time. Let people know where they can follow. Give all the plugs so that way people who are watching right now can and who watch on the replay can make sure to follow and support you and your new line that'll be coming out.
Y'all can follow me on Facebook at LaQuanza Glover. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at _L.G.3_. You can follow me on Twitter at Kwanzaa_3. And you can follow my clothing brand at Quasi Apparel on Instagram. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, hey, congratulations again much success. We look forward to seeing you back on the floor, and we know you're going to be working hard.
Man, that looked
And,
nice.
and yeah, to find your way
I like that.
back into playing
I,
again.
I'm not
And
gonna
I
tell
know
you who made that graphic.
no, don't tell her. Don't pat yourself on the back. Don't pat yourself on the back.
Oh, you
Uh,
made it. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
I do. I do a lot of the graphics for us at BCSN and stuff like that. So
I
yeah,
appreciate you.
and
I
I actually
appreciate
took
that.
pleasure in making that one.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Again, hey, it was great to be there to witness it. Congratulations again to you, LaQuanza. Props to everybody at Edward Waters University who made it happen in celebrating one of your legends. And I know you guys are doing a great job over there at Edward Waters, and so it's a pleasure to be there to witness it. So, LaQuanza, much success. QTs in 2026, ladies and gentlemen. But
Yes,
remember, go
sir.
follow and support LaQuanza and in the future, and we look forward to seeing you back on the court pretty soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, we're going to take a break, come back, and with a little more basketball talk. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. We'll be back in a moment.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service with Slow Burn. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge featuring a meticulous curated collection of premium cigars. It's more than a mobile lounge. It's an environment and an experience rich in history, luxury, and personality. An elegant extension of any celebration occasion. It's the perfect escape and meeting place, a space where you can relax or enjoy a shared passion. Have Slow Burn plan your next big event, or before you are planning to celebrate your win over your athletic rival, you can shop our collections at www.slowburnwaco.com.
But if they want to tap, I'ma do the dab, yeah.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Brian, you're going to
All
have to
right.
leave your comments alone. I got the comments today, man. Don't worry about it. I got the
Welcome
comments.
back. Welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. I blame Drew for screwing up the lead. Here I was about to go into the lead story, and he threw a curveball far and outside. But anyway, the lead story. So welcome back. Good
Just
to be
like
back.
Valley.
Yes. Anyway, the lead story coming back from the weekend, Drew, has to be Jackson State women's basketball being beaten by Southern University on essentially a last-second heave-ho from the top of the key to lose by 1 point. Really in a game that Southern had pretty much. I'm not going to use the word dominated, but they controlled that game by shooting. I'm trying to see if I can find their percentage in terms of their shooting. I know in the first half when I saw that Southern had a lead or was in that ball game, Southern shot really well from that. Don't seem to be able to find the box score right offhand, but just an outstanding game and effort by Southern to knock off Jackson State, Drew. And I feel like on one hand, I can recall the Jackson State losses over the past, 3 to 4 seasons. I mean, you had Southern, You had Prairie View. That had Prairie View in the regular season. Southern now. You had a perfect record last year. The year before was practically perfect, except for Alabama State beating them at the first game of the regular season. And then I think the year before, they were practically perfect as well. So, I mean, we're talking again 3 losses in 3 seasons. Something to that effect. You Jackson State folks would be better to explain it and brag about it. But the story is about Southern, because Southern went ahead and turned that win into a victory over UAPB, who actually drew it. Funny thing, it was UAPB who was actually uh, running as a 7 seed, knocked off Alabama A&M, who was the 2 seed. Then they knocked off Alabama State, who had been to the SWAC championship game, I believe, the last 2 seasons. And so the 7 seed had found themselves in the championship game. And, you're a case of 2 Cinderellas or 2 storylines that no one was really expecting. I think we all went into the tournament thinking who had the best shot at beating Jackson State. I don't think, I mean, you guys be honest. Southern UAPB people, be honest.
You had UAPB probably was 1, Alabama State was
Really?
probably 2, and there's arguments where you could flip those 2 as for number 1 and number 2 for beating
Was
Jackson
UAPB
State.
people, there was some consideration that
Jackson
UAPB people
State
thought
people, Jackson State people were afraid of UAPB.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Then in that case, and I'll take that as word then. So yeah, I mean, but then Southern ends up beating UAPB 62-53. Um, so congratulations to Southern. Southern, the 4 seed, advances to the tournament. Um, their final record, I don't even know if it matters, but what does kind of matter, I think, and we'll talk about it in a second after we talk about the men's bracket. Jackson State will go to the NIT, and they already earned the automatic qualifier going to the NIT. And I'll tell you, Jackson State has a very good chance in the NIT to win a few games, put a run together, and quite possibly, I don't know where to do the Final Four for the NIT, but
I think it still matters
even for the women.
Oh, that is a good question for the women. Not 100% sure for the women.
Okay. So that's a good opportunity for Jackson State. And for Southern will probably go in as a first 4. Because they just started the first 4 on the women's side last year. Howard played in that first 4 role, so Southern will probably go in as a first 4 team. I believe the women's bracket will be released probably about 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern. So we'll have more on that. The men's bracket, Drew. We sat here last week with Charles Edmond of Alcorn State Sports Radio, and when you get the kind of information that we got, and this is a pro tip, for you guys who like to play and sprinkle a little money and wager, especially with the tournament coming on. Those of you who can in your various states that do allow gambling, pay attention to anytime you hear an interview or an article, especially with the guys who are the play-by-play commentators for these various schools. They entrenched with this team. They know this team probably better sometimes than a lot of media people. Media people meaning the writers and things of that nature. Charles Edmond told us that the one team that Alcorn was really worried about was Texas Southern. Texas Southern was plus 1,200 to win the tournament. And Drew, unfortunately I feel foolish that I didn't put a little pizza money on them to go. Drew, go ahead for a second and talk. Tell us some analysis on what you thought there. I want to pick up this phone. Chris Wright, Coach Wright is calling, so you must have an issue going on. Go ahead and pick up for me.
Yeah, the big thing with Texas Southern controlled the boards. But with Texas Southern controlling the boards, they were able to beef up against Alcorn and get Alcorn out of their game. They also shot the ball very well against Alcorn. But even with that, Brian, the run that Texas Southern got on, and we said it right here on the Sports Wrap last week, one of these two Texas schools were going to have a first round upset, be it Prairie View or be it Texas Southern. Prairie View almost pulled off the upset themselves, as they should have beaten Jackson State. So these Texas schools are tournament tested. And I don't know, Brian, two questions. Why do we still call it the SWAC tournament instead of the Texas Invitational? Number two, since it's the Texas Invitational, can we just go ahead and move it back to Houston? Maybe that'll help out with some of the attendance.
Hey, Houston would be a much better place, I think, than Birmingham.
Just a smaller venue. It doesn't need to be in a compact center. They need a smaller venue in Houston, but I think Houston, and considering that they currently play at Bartow Arena, which is the home of the UAB Blazers, why not play at and I don't know what the name of the arena where the Houston Cougars play at, but I think that might be a small enough arena to house it where you have that, because the compact is probably too expensive, and it's definitely 18,000. You're not going to get 18,000 at the SWAC championship game. You might not get 18,000. You might not get 8,000 total for all 4 days of the SWAC championship or all 5 days of the SWAC tournament. So maybe a place like the University of Houston or something along those lines, they should already taken it to a college campus. And we'll get more on this attendance stuff a little bit later in this conversation, Brian.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we the eyes of Texas are smiling on everybody, on everybody, because it is so hard when you think about what the Texas schools have done. And, I'm going to try to, just off the top of my head, I did the research, Drew, so back me up here. I think this is now, I think going into it, a Texas school had won 6 of the last 8. So now it's 7 of the last 9 that a Texas school has won the SWAC tournament. A Texas school has won 6 of the last 8 regular seasons prior to or including this year, if I'm not, or the previous 8 years, not this year including. So a Texas school had won 6 of the previous 8. So I mean, it's just so hard, and you know, I feel bad not. We had the analysis here from Charles Edmond, who told us Texas.
Bad for yourself, Brian. Admit it. You're mad at yourself. You're not mad at anybody else. Just say it, brother.
I feel
mad.
I'm mad. I'm mad as heck. I'm mad as heck at myself because what I could do going into this tournament. But that's all right though.
You sound like the guy who did get in at the beginning of Bitcoin.
Yes, I do. I feel exactly like that guy. How did I not recognize that Bitcoin was take off and I could have got out of it before it crashed? How did I not recognize that? Anyway, that's what it's like over here on this end. Hey, we're going to take a short break. Come back. We're going to talk to Langston University head men's basketball coach Chris Wright. The Langston Lions are heading to Kansas City. It's the place that Coach Wright is very familiar with, and we're gonna see what that means for Langston. So we're gonna step away for a quick break. Come back, talk to Coach Chris Wright on the other side. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap with Bryan and A.D.
This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Some carriers will give you just one measly entertainment subscription. One is no fun. With Verizon, there's up to 7 entertainment subscriptions with your unlimited plan. That's 7 times the... 7 times the... No. 7 times the... Music, gaming, Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, and more. That's 7 times the entertainment. Because everyone deserves better. And with plans starting at just $35, better costs less than you think.
Our producer back there jamming, Brian.
I can tell. Hey, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan and A.D. here. It's a pleasure to be joined by friend of the program. I feel like we can say that. Coach Chris Wright, head coach of Langston University Lions of the Sooner Athletic Conference, and the Langston Lions are going to the Kansas City. The final site in the NAI level, they don't call it necessarily the Sweet 16, but it's the final 16 teams of the 64 field tournament. Drew or Coach, what is the technical right term for? I always mess it up.
So I guess it would be the man. That's a great question. I just stick with the Sweet 16.
I do too. I don't want to get anybody contractually in trouble or anything.
He going to the ship. That's all we need to know. He going
Kansas
to the ship
City,
and try to get back and get it done this time. That's all we need to know.
Exactly. For those of you who may not be familiar, Coach, 1 year ago, almost to this day, or almost this time of year, Coach was with another school, another program in the NAIA, and he was there. He was at the doorstep leading them to the national championship game. They finished as the runner-up. This past year, Coach left that school, went to Oklahoma. He went west. And I tell you, they say it's beautiful out west, Coach. How's Langston, Oklahoma treated you over the last several months since the move from Alabama to Oklahoma?
Man, it is, it's been awesome. It's been a huge blessing. I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so now I'm about 3 hours from home. And so, that's been nice. I love Langston, our president. I always tell people I work for the best president in the country. I have a very supportive administration. And so it's worked out really well for us.
Now, Coach, you had spent some times building up the program at your previous stop. Langston was 1-27 a year ago. This year, probably, I don't care what anybody says, and I challenge anybody to find a better turnaround story. And I'm just saying this, I hope that, your flowers and reward, and not the rewards, but the recognition of what you and your staff and everybody who's been a part of the turnaround gets the credit for, because this year you were 31-2. When you walked into the Langston program, what did you see that told you that you could have this type of year?
For me, I think it started again with just the vision of our president. Dr. Ken Smith, a guy that really, really wants to be excellent in everything that he does. If you look at our university, just the trajectory it's been on over the past decade since he's taken over has been amazing. And so I knew that, that coming here, we would have a chance to be really, really good in year one.
Drew, go ahead.
I'm gonna kind of follow up on Brian's question, but I'm gonna ask it a different way, Coach. Having been a former assistant basketball coach myself, having been on the good end and the bad end of the spectrum, how in the hell do you improve by 30 wins in one season, Coach? Just, for somebody who, and the reason I ask that, for somebody who's actually been in those wars, because I've been a part of teams that have all the talent in the world, but just can't get it right due to egos or if grades catch somebody or injuries or whatever the case is. And then I've been on teams that honestly you come in like, well, I'd be happy with a 500 season, and the next thing you know, you're playing for a conference championship because that team has such chemistry and love for each other, and they just you don't know how they put the ball in the basket, but they put the ball in the basket and they defend when you need them to. So, Coach, once again, how in the hell do you improve by 30 wins in one season?
Well, obviously that's a great credit to our players and our assistant coaches. Um, my mentor Jim Sy, he has a great saying. He says, I've never seen a a jockey carry a horse across the finish line, and so it all started with with how we recruited last summer. We have really talented players that have really bought into being unselfish and just really doing things the right way day in and day out. And so I knew we were going to be really good. If I would not have guessed we'd be 31 and too good. But I'm really proud of our players and our staff. All the credit goes to them. I'm fortunate to be the head coach, right? I get a lot of credit. Those two groups make me look a lot better than I really am.
Definitely, Coach. Definitely. And with all of that, once again, I'm coming from somebody who's been there in the war. How do you keep these guys humbled and focused on the ultimate prize, which is getting that championship in Kansas City? Because it's easy when you I think you started off with 17 in a row before you dropped one. If I got the number right, I'm going off the top of my head. How do you keep them focused and like not rest on, hey, we don't won 17, nobody could beat us. Up, we just got beat. Then you go and get another streak. How do you maintain that focus amongst these kids, especially with everybody coming to them on social media and then the people out in the streets and the community giving them their praise and just making their heads swell up where they could barely get into the gym, Coach? How do you handle that?
Yeah, you're right. It is hard trying to keep our guys focused. Like it is any successful team. But for us, it's really about consistency. Like our record doesn't define us. It's our culture. We just require that every single day we're trying to be the best that we can. And if you stack enough good days together and you have really good players, it's amazing what happens.
All right. My last question before I turn it back over to Brian. This is an HBCU question. We don't get the respect on the national level, both NAIA and NC2A, when it comes to our programs and the work that we do. And let's be real, most of our HBCUs are underfunded and limited resource institutions. So, what does you put having this type of success that two HBCUs now? This is not counting your success that you had in California before you went to Talladega. But what does this mean as far as just the HBCU brand when it comes to athletics, the success where programs like you, programs and like Tougaloo also, who would be there in Kansas City with you? What does that really mean, our brand?
I think it's huge because, as you guys know, I think a lot of times in the HBCU world, news that gets reported is a lot of the bad stuff and not a lot of the good things that go on. And so for us, it's something we talk with our team a lot. We're not just playing for ourselves, right? We are playing for HBCUs across the country. And so, I believe this is my 5th year being able to work right in an HBCU, and it's something that really means a lot to me, right? Like as a white guy, you tell people that sometimes, and people kind of look at you funny. But no, like HBCUs absolutely do not get enough credit for what they do academically for young men and women, and then the really good programs that exist out there athletically. And I wasn't happy getting a 2 seed. I'm not a guy that I'm kind of going to speak my mind and be honest about that. I thought in the conference that we play in, to go 31-2 and get a 2 seed was ridiculous. And so, again, we talk about it with our guys. Now we just have to go out and win games. And so, fortunately, we've been able to do that and put ourselves, 4 games away from a national championship. And so, we got to try to go 1-0 4 times.
As valid as your argument is, Coach, I think Tougaloo has just as good of an argument, not losing to an NAIA program the entire season, with their only loss being to a Division II program. So I think both of you guys have a valid argument on your seeding there in the tournament. But hey, time to prove it on the court, Coach. Go ahead, Bryan.
Hey, I like the fact that you said that you're not being happy with the 2 seed, but the 2 seed benefited you because it meant you got to be home. It meant you got to host that opening round tournament. Going into the NAIA tournament, you were 14-0 at home, or maybe it was 16-0. I don't know if are they counting those as on the home record? So I mean, is that the 16-0? I think that counts, Drew. So unbeaten
It counts
at
for
home
us
this year. It
I bet
counts,
it
right?
counts for Coach Wright too.
It's on the website, so I just didn't know about 16-0 was including the NAIA tournament. I like that. Okay, so unbeaten at home. Talk a little bit about that process because that was big. I mean, I don't know, even though you may be the top, is not always prepared to handle the responsibility of hosting a multi-team event. Was there ever any doubt, or I mean, was the administration completely behind the process of saying, "Hey, coach, if we get that opportunity, we're gonna host. So no, don't worry about it."
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thought, starting with our president, Dr. Smith, and then our AD, athletic director, Danita Rogers, they did a phenomenal job, and in both administrative teams and putting our tournament together. And so, the feedback that we got was, was really, really good, and the atmosphere that our guys got to play in front of was unbelievable. To be honest, I felt really bad for, for the teams that had to come in and play a true road game in the national tournament. That's tough. But hey, if they're passing out host bids and we're in a position to host, you can bet that we're going to try to do that. It is a huge advantage.
Hey, that's the one thing I
He
will
didn't
say.
feel too bad.
Drew,
He just saying that.
no,
right now.
I
he
know,
felt bad till that ball was tossed up.
Politically correct thing. That's what I love about Coach, because that's why I say that's the one thing, Drew. What did we notice in this tournament? Pretty much all of our schools had to play somebody in their home gym, with the exception of Langston. I believe everybody had to go to somebody's gym and eventually played the 1 seed. I think even tonight.
You just say the whole seed.
And the host seed, excuse me. Yes, the host seed.
Yeah.
Everybody had to play the host seed except Langston, who was the host. So don't cry. I know you're not crying any tears about that, Coach, but I mean we definitely won't either. I want to talk about some of these young men that now give us if you can give us a makeup of the roster prior to coming in. I mean, did you have to completely rebuild? Did you have you had players from Langston that were already there? I asked that before I get into talking about the young men who received some of the postseason awards. What was the makeup or rebuild like?
So we only have one player that was on the roster last year here with us right now. And so, we got here and it was basically time to recruit a whole new team. And so, again, I love the guys that we were fortunate enough to get. Man, they're great people. Something I don't think gets talked about enough. We had a 3.14 GPA in the fall. And so,
congratulations.
These guys have, thank you. Really taking advantage of the opportunity that they've had. And so I've been really proud of them.
I'll give you a chance to talk about some of those young men. Tristan Harper was the SAC Player of the Year, averaging 15.6, 5.9 rebounds, and 1.2 assists per game. You had the Defensive Player of the Year in Cortez Mosley. And then the newcomer year was Harper. Then there were a couple other young men who made the All SAC. Want to make sure I give their name. I think it's Taru Dean and AJ Rainey both received recognition, and there might be some other guys, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about uh, those young men and just kind of what they have meant to this program this season for you.
So Tristan Harper, he was in our league last year at Talladega. He played at Middle Georgia, and the first time we played him, he had 31 on us. We couldn't guard him, you know, and you know, he had a friend that played on our team, Davion Thomas, a transfer from Troy, and so Harp finished his degree and was going to work on his master's, and so it's a lot better having him on your team than trying to figure out a way to stop him. I'll tell you that. And so he is, you know, and his numbers are good, but you know, I think we have 5 guys that average double figures. If you put him a lot of other places around the country, you know, he's averaging 20 something points a game, but you know, I feel like he's really sacrificed a lot of the things that he does for our team's success. You know, you mentioned Cortez Mosley as a guy that was the Defensive Player of the Year in our league. You know, Cortez is a mid-major player, had mid-major offers, and just, you know, didn't qualify academically out of junior college. But he's been tremendous for us. I mean, he does everything. He can guard 1 through 5. He can literally play 1 through 5 on the offensive end. And he does a lot of things that just, you know, I think the average person wouldn't see because it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. You know, I think he's taken 39 charges for us so far this year. And so he really is you know, kind of almost like the glue that holds us together.
Yeah, I mean that true. When you have 5 guys in double figures, that's one of those good problems to have. You know, you sacrifice those points because, you know, who's the hot man today? You know, it's go figure it out. Good luck for the other team. Drew, go ahead, get in there with the last couple questions here for Coach.
First, I want to give a couple of comments from our chat, the YouTube chat, Coach, to you. Edward Moore says, LU Psychedelic Literature says, congratulations, Langston. Edward Moore says, say it, Coach. I'm that good of a coach. He said he wants you to go ahead and admit it, Coach. One of our followers there, Edward Moore. Tara T says, that's a major turnaround. Congratulations, Langston. And once again, Psychedelic Literature says, props to the athletes on being such serious students. So, yeah, with all that being said, Coach, what is it going to take for you to cut down the nets this year? Let's just get straight to the chase.
Well, I tell you what, first off, you know, the bracket that we're in sure didn't do us any favors. You know, we opened
you don't have Loyola this year. That's a positive.
That is. There's no Miles Burns, Zach Reitzel running around. So, but yeah, hey, so we opened up with Georgetown College. You know, they made 32 straight NAI national tournaments. You know, Chris Briggs, their head coach, is as good as there is. I mean, he's won 2 national titles. You know, we're gonna have our work cut out for us game 1, and so you know, again, all of our focus has been on that. And then you look down the bracket. If we were to win, it doesn't get a whole lot easier with us playing the winner of Grace, who, in my opinion, could be the best NAI team in the country, or Freed Hardman, another really good team. And so, you know, for us, we're going to have to defend the way we're capable of. We're going to have to continue to minimize turnovers. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think the toughest team always wins, you know, and we're a team built on toughness. We have good depth. And so, you know, I think we just have to go out and really do what we do at a high level, and we'll be in good shape.
And for those who are interested in following the Langston Lions, they will tip off Tuesday. That's at 1 o'clock Central Time, so that'll be 2 o'clock Eastern as they take on Georgetown of Kentucky. That's a 2 versus 3 matchup. You can go to naia.org and click on the link. And it is a paid
site, so you have to pay to watch the game. But I think it'll be a good investment for you to go ahead and pay to watch the Langston Lions. And for the other HBCU, they will tip off Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, when Tougaloo takes on St. Thomas out of the Sun Conference. That's a 6 versus 10 matchup. You gonna be over there cheering for Tougaloo, Coach? Because the only way you guys could meet is if y'all are in the championship game. So I mean, I don't know how much love you guys have, especially considering you're a former conference rival of Tougaloo. So.
I tell you what, they've had a remarkable season. It's been fun to watch, and I do agree with you. I think that their seeding was quite baffling to me as well. And so I've been really happy to see them have the success that they've had. And so it definitely will be fun to follow them this week.
Hey, I got to ask before I let you go, the experience of last year usually helps. Usually helps. How did the experience of going through those 4 games last year? Only 2 teams got to play 4 games in Kansas City last year. You were one of them. How does that experience prepare you for this journey?
I hope it does. I think that, again, we were fortunate enough to make it to the national championship game. And so, as a staff, most of us have been here before. We've kind of put our guys through this week and have a good idea as to what works. Or what we think works anyways, right? And so I do think it's an advantage. I'm excited. I wish Tuesday would hurry up and get here. I think our guys are ready to hit the court and play. And so it should be an exciting week for us.
All right. Well, I for one am thankful that I'm on spring break this week. If I happen to make my way to the beach, I will be sitting on the beach watching your game, toes up in the sand, watching some basketball in a shaded spot somewhere from 2 to 4 Eastern, Coach. Thank you for coming on. Congratulations on all that you have accomplished this year. It's not done. We know it's not done. I got a feeling it ain't done. So we just gonna sit back and watch you guys do what you do. And congratulations to you, the staff, your family, your coaches' families, the players.
A.D. Rogers
really
over
is.
there.
A.D. Rogers, yeah, shout out to A.D. Rogers, one of the first people to be a big supporter of the Black College Sports Network. So that's why I said we got love for Langston and we got love for you. So it's a great marriage. I knew when they got you, I said, uh-oh. I said, watch out. Langston is coming up, and you guys have proved me right again. So good luck, Coach, man. We're going to be praying for you guys. Safe travels. Best of luck to you. Any final words you want to say before we let you go?
No, hey, I definitely always appreciate you guys' support, your kindness. One thing I ask is if you're out there on the beach in nice 80-degree weather, at least have a drink for me. It's kind of chilly back here in Kansas City.
You didn't even have to say it, Coach. I got you. I got you.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, Coach Chris Wright, Langston University. And wow, man, that is awesome, Drew.
Every boy says the HBCU family is with him.
Hey, exactly. Look, and I got to get, I'm glad you mentioned that because, again, Monday, Tougaloo plays St. Thomas. That's a Sun Conference team that Florida Memorial is very familiar with. So that's at 2 o'clock. I'd be shocked if Tougaloo doesn't win that game.
Down the corner from Florida Memorial. Literally.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Tougaloo doesn't win that game. Now, I don't know the seeding. I haven't looked completely at the
I'm looking at the bracket
NAIA
right now.
bracket. So obviously they seed everybody 1 to 16, I'm assuming.
In 4 quads.
Okay, so Langston is what, and this team, Georgetown, Kentucky, is what?
That's a 2-3 matchup. And the winner of that one will be taking on Grace out of Indiana or Freed Hardman out of Tennessee, and that's a 1-5 matchup. Just going by seeding, Brian.
Hold on a second.
Brian,
I'm trying to visualize.
This is the second toughest bracket in Kansas City.
I'm I'm trying to understand how they do the brackets in Kansas City because I would have thought that if Langston is a 2, they would match up against a 15 seed. But
No,
that's not
no,
the
Brian.
case though.
No, it's you still have your 4 quads.
Oh,
It would be
okay.
like the
I
NC2As
got
with
you.
the full
I
regional
got you.
sites, except they bring
That's
all
right.
the regional sites to one location. You still have 4
Okay.
quads. So in that quad, you have the 1, the 2, who is Langston, the 3, and the
3 and
5
5.
seed still
Okay.
alive.
Okay.
The only quad
Okay.
that is better than that, and that's the dual quad. The listing
Yeah.
quad has all 4 of the top seeds remaining. That's the only quad by seeding that is tougher.
Okay. All right. So man, but hey, there is a potential, Drew, of a dream HBCU national championship between Tougaloo and Langston, correct? Based on the seeding or the
Correct.
brackets.
Based on the brackets. Yes,
Wow.
they're on 2
Based
opposite
on the
sides of
brackets.
the bracket. Langston is in the dual quadrant. Tougaloo is in the Naismith quadrant, which is the other 30, which is in the other 32. And they will be playing what let's say they will play Monday. Should both of them win, Tougaloo will play at Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and Langston will play Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And those are central times that I just gave you guys. So that'll be 2 and
Yeah.
6 for those of you all on the East Coast.
And the nice thing for those of you who are about to, you're about to soak up the NCAA, and they have these games played in 8 different arenas around the country. The NAIA, when they get to the final 16, they put everybody in one building, and you're playing all these games right there in Kansas City, Missouri, right? Not Kansas City, Kansas. Is
Kansas
that
City,
correct?
Missouri Municipal Auditorium.
Right. So you can get the good barbecue on that side of the river, correct? The good barbecues on that side of the river, Drew.
Very much so.
I
Very
would
much
love
so.
I would love to be able to take whatever time off if we get a Final Four that has Langston and Tougaloo. I would love to take some personal days and go to Kansas City
Brian,
to just
you won't have to take personal days because you're on spring break, and the Final Four matchup would be Friday, with the championship game being Saturday of this week.
oh. All right. Enough said. Langston, Tougaloo, let's get it done. I don't know if I can find me a cheap flight on somewhere. I won't fly Spirit though. I will
Spirit.
not fly Spirit. Nope, not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Southwest had some decent flights last time I checked, though, Brian.
There
Seriously,
you go. There you go.
out
There
of
you go.
your area.
All right. So yeah, just to quickly recap the NAIA, of course, as we just mentioned, Langston won both of their games in the opening round, opening region. They were host. Tougaloo won both of their matchups. Tougaloo, interesting enough, matched up initially against an 11 seed and beat them by 10. That was Texas A&M, Texarkana. Then they had to play a 14 seed. The defending champs were in their field, Loyola, Louisiana. They lost their opening round, so they ended up playing a 14 seed Sagu out of Texas. We're familiar with them because they are in Langston's conference, the center.
Southwest Assembly of Gods.
Exactly. So they beat Tougaloo beat 75-62 to advance. Gotta give a shout out to Xavier Coach Williams because as an 8 playing a 9, they won their opening round by a score of 95-57. But then they
Brian,
had to play.
remind
Yeah,
everybody where their game was at.
yes, that game was in Caldwell, Idaho, hosted by the College of Idaho, who was the host school and the 1 seed, and that's who Xavier had to play. Unfortunately, they lost 76-61. But on opening day, we had Xavier, Tougaloo, and Langston, all of the NEIA get a win, get a dub. Okay, over on the women's side, wasn't so well. Well, 2 of the 3. didn't have a good outing in their opening game. Florida Memorial had to travel to the host school, Marion, Indiana, up in my hometown of Indianapolis. They lost 80-59. Philander Smith had to travel to Park City, Kansas, and take on Montana Western. They lost
That's
79 to
outside of
48.
Wichita.
Russ College did get a win, though. Russ College did get a win in the opening round against Faulkner right there in Alabama. They beat them 71 to 51. But in the second round, they had to play the host school, Campbellsville, Kentucky. Unfortunately, they could not overcome, and they lost 80 to 65. So congratulations to Rush on getting a win in the tournament. And, you know, it's a continual building steps. Coach Jackson, it's like you get there, you don't have a good first round, first outcome, but the trick is to get there second year in a row, the third year in a row, and that's when
3
you
out of
start
4 or
stacking.
something along that line.
3 out of 4. That's when you start stacking wins. That's what we've seen Xavier do with Coach Williams. That's what we've seen Coach Wright do in a couple different stops. He did it especially when he was at Talladega. And so that's what we're hopeful is in store. So again, Tougaloo men and Langston men are still alive. You can catch those games Monday and Tuesday. Let's take
Bryan,
a break, Drew.
Hold on.
What?
Edward Moore says it has to be tough to beat an Assemblies of Gods. Now let's go to break.
Now let's go to break. You're watching the BCSN Sports Trial with Bryan and A.D. We'll be back in just a moment.
But earmuffs, you stay on hard.